Alright, so today I decided I want to rank all of the unique weapons in Minecraft dungeons. Before you go screaming into my comment section about how wrong this video is, please know that this is only my opinion. Thank you. Also, this was planned before the Creeping Winter DLC was released, so I have no idea what the new weapons are or what meter changes have been made, so keep that in mind. Alright, let's get into this video. Let's start off with the first tier, the F tier. The F tier is just weapons that you are almost never gonna see in a top tier build. These weapons just aren't good. Number 35, the Dark Katana. I'm ranking this weapon as the worst unique weapon in Minecraft dungeons because it is terrible. It is a katana weapon type, so basically just a claymore, but nowhere near as strong. The unique trait of this weapon is smiting. Smiting does extra damage to undead mobs, so all the zombies and skeletons and such. Overall, this weapon is absolute garbage in most situations. Number 34, the Master's Katana. This weapon is also a katana weapon type, however it has the critical hit trait instead of smiting. Critical hit is one of the best enchantments for melee weapons in Minecraft dungeons, so this weapon is much better than the previous. Critical hit has a chance to do 3 times the amount of damage, which is basically triple damage. This weapon is still very bad, but is much better compared to the previous katana. Number 33, the Flail. The flail is a mace weapon type, which is basically just a wannabe axe, so it is not very good. The unique trait on this weapon is chains, which is one of, and quite possibly the worst melee enchantment. Chains has a chance to chain a cluster of enemies together, making them unable to move for a very short period of time. This weapon is pretty garbage compared to some of the later weapons in this video. Number 32, the Sun's Grace. This weapon is also a mace weapon type, however the unique trait is radiance instead of chains. Radiance is a really good survivability enchantment. It has a chance to heal a bunch of health on every hit. Number 31, the Nameless Blade. This weapon is a cutlass weapon type, which isn't really a good weapon. It's more of a meh weapon type. The unique trait is weakening, which isn't very good because it just has a chance to make the enemies a little bit weaker on hit. Overall, not very good weapon. Number 30, the Dancer's Sword. This weapon is also a cutlass weapon type, however the unique trait is rampaging instead of weakening. Rampaging has a chance to make the player attack faster on hit. This is a pretty good enchantment in my opinion. Number 29, the Maulers. This weapon's type is gauntlets, which has really good unique versions, except this one. The unique trait is not an enchantment, it's more of a stat, but it is just rapid fire but for melee. Rapid fire makes the player's attack speed higher, increasing by every hit. I'm ranking this weapon so low because the attack speed just cannot keep the radiance enchantment up as much as you need it to. Alright, let's get into the next tier, the D tier. These weapons are not bad, but they aren't very good either. Number 28, the Last Laugh. This weapon is a sickle weapon type, which is pretty good in some cases. In others, it is trash. The unique trait is Prospector, which just makes you find more emeralds by killing mobs, which isn't actually that bad. This weapon's usefulness depends on the build you are using it in, but in most builds, this weapon just isn't as strong as many other weapons in this list. Number 27, the Fangs of Frost. This weapon is a dagger weapon type, which has a lot of potential. The unique trait is Freezing, which has a chance to slow mobs for a short period of time, which isn't really that bad, but it isn't very good either. This weapon had a lot of potential, but the unique trait just isn't good enough for it to be any better. Number 26, the Fortune Spear. This weapon is a spear weapon type, which can be pretty good with the right enchantments, but it's not really my thing. The unique trait is Looting, which is actually pretty good. It has a chance to drop random consumables when killed an enemy. Number 25, the Nightmare's Bite. This weapon is a sickle weapon type, just like the Fangs of Frost. The unique trait is Poison Cloud, which is so much better than Freezing. That's why I put it a bit higher than the Fangs of Frost. Poison Cloud has a chance to summon a cloud of poison, dealing consistent damage for a pretty good amount of time on hit. Number 24, the Whispering Spear. This weapon is also a spear weapon type, however the unique trait is echo instead of looting. Echo is a pretty good enchantment. It has a chance to attack a bunch of times in a short burst sequence. This weapon isn't actually that bad. It is actually pretty good in some situations. Okay, now comes the next tier, which is the C tier. The C tier has some weapons that are just average. They definitely aren't bad, but they aren't great either. Number 23, the diamond sword. This weapon is a sword weapon type, which is actually pretty good. The sword weapon type is basically the most average weapon type there is. It is basically at the middle of all of the types. The unique trait is sharpness, which is really good. Sharpness just increases the base attack damage of the weapon. Number 22, the hawkbrand. This weapon is also a sword weapon type, however the unique trait is critical hit instead of sharpness. Critical hit is amazing. I have already explained what critical hit does earlier on in the video, so if you maybe forgot then you can go back and check. It was at the master's katana. Number 21, the glaive bane. This weapon is a glaive weapon type, which is pretty good. The unique trait is smiting, which is pretty weak. I have already explained what smiting does earlier on in the video, at number 34. Number 20, the venom glaive. This weapon is also a glaive weapon type, however the unique trait is poison cloud instead of smiting. Poison cloud is really good. I explained it on number 25. This weapon is a really good one out of all the weapons so far. Number 19, the jailer's scythe. This weapon is a soul scythe weapon type, which is pretty average. The soul scythe weapon type is pretty good in soul builds, but I prefer non-soul builds because I don't like my build depending on souls. They are really annoying. The unique trait is chains, which is just terrible. Explanation at number 33. This weapon also looks really cool, so that's a plus in my books. Number 18, the frost scythe. This weapon is also a soul scythe type, however the unique trait is freezing instead of chains. Freezing isn't really that bad, but it is way better than chains. Explanation on number 27. Number 17, the Highland axe. This weapon is an axe weapon type, which is really good, and it is basically just the sword, but better. The unique trait is stunning, which is quite weak. It has chance to stun enemies for a short amount of time on hit. If you want to have a good stunning effect, just use the light feather artifact, which is the best way to stun enemies. Number 16, the firebrand. This weapon is also an axe weapon type, however the unique trait is fire aspect instead of stunning. Fire aspect is really good. It sets hit enemies on fire, dealing a lot of damage over time. Fire aspect also got a major buff, making it a lot stronger. Now, heading on to the next tier, which is tier B. The B tier has some really great weapons. They are some very useful weapons that are pretty strong. Number 15, the eternal knife. This weapon is a soul knife weapon type, which in some soul builds can be really good. This weapon type is pretty good. Its thrust attack makes it a very powerful weapon type. The unique trait is soul siphon, which is a pretty good soul enchantment, especially combined with anima condit. Soul siphon has a chance to summon a bunch of souls on hit, which is pretty good. Anima condit gives a small amount of health for every soul gathered, which combined with soul siphon makes it really useful. This is overall a pretty good weapon. Number 14, the truth seeker. This weapon is also a soul knife weapon type, however the unique trait is committed instead of soul siphon. Committed is amazing for bosses. It increases attack damage to injured mobs. What that means is the more damage you dealt to the enemy, the stronger you will get. This is probably the best boss enchantment in Minecraft dungeons. Number 13, the heart stealer. This weapon is a claymore weapon type, which is a very high damaging weapon type. The claymore weapon type can do so much damage, it can even wipe out high health mobs with one hit, like the mushroom cows. The unique trait is leeching, which gives a percentage of the health of the mob when you kill it. It is a really great survivability tool. Number 12, the broadsword. This weapon is also a claymore weapon type, however the unique trait is sharpness instead of leeching. Sharpness is a really good enchantment. Explanation on number 23, especially on the claymore weapon type. The claymore type has one of the highest damage in the game. and by adding sharpness you just increase it even more. Number 11. The diamond pickaxe. This weapon is a pickaxe weapon type, which is really good. The unique trait is prospector, which is pretty good. Explanation on number 28. Overall this weapon is great. Alright, onto the top 10 best weapons. And that also marks the A tier. The A tier has some of the best melee weapons in the game. Number 10. The Stormlander. This weapon is a hammer weapon type, which is an amazing weapon for AoE damage. The unique trait is Thundering, which has a chance to strike lightning into the enemy on hit. Thundering isn't really the best enchantment, but it isn't bad. This weapon is pretty great. Number 9. The Hammer of Gravity. This weapon is also a hammer weapon type, however the unique trait is Gravity instead of Thundering. Gravity is really good. It pulls all of the enemies nearby into your range, so you can hit more of them at a time. The fact that this weapon is a hammer type, combined with Gravity, is insane. It makes the weapon so much more powerful, because it pulls all the enemies close to you, and the hammer has insane AoE, so it just smashes them all into a pancake. This weapon is truly a great weapon. Number 8. The Vine Whip. This weapon is the whip weapon type, which is amazing in certain builds. The unique trait isn't an enchantment, it is more like a stat, but it just poisons enemies on hit, so I guess it's pretty good. But the main focus of this weapon is the insane range. You have a range combined with the insane one-hit combo makes this weapon amazing. If you have Shockwave and Swelling on this, with the Teeth Cap Mushroom, you will have made an amazing build. This weapon is amazing. Number 7. The Moon Daggers. This weapon is a dagger weapon type, which has a lot of potential. There was another dagger previously in the list, but this one is so much better. The unique trait is Enigma Resonator, which is amazing. Enigma Resonator is basically just critical hit, but soul based, so the more souls you have, the higher the chance to activate it. This weapon is amazing for bosses. Using Enigma Resonator and a combination of some other top tier enchantments, you can make one of the best bossing weapons in the game. This weapon is really amazing for bosses and also some mobbing. Number 6. The Soul Fists. This weapon is the Gauntlet's weapon type, which has amazing uniques, except the Maulers. This weapon is by far the best soul weapon in the game in my opinion. The unique trait is Enigma Resonator, which we just covered in the previous placement. Using this weapon, the soul builds you can make are insane. This weapon is a really amazing soul weapon. Number 5. The Growing Staff. This weapon is a battlestaff weapon type, which is amazing. The unique trait is Committed, which is really good for bossing. Explanation on number 14. This weapon has such a high damage combo that combining it with more damage enchantments makes it insane. This weapon is really an atom. Number 4. The Battlestaff of Terror. This weapon is also a battlestaff weapon type, however the unique trait is Exploding instead of Committed. Exploding makes an enemy explode when killed, dealing a percentage of its health as damage. The Exploding enchantment combined with the high damage combo makes this weapon one of the best mobbing weapons in the game. Now, coming up are the top 3 best weapons in MCD, and that also marks the start of the S tier. The S tier has the top 3 best weapons in the game. These 3 weapons are madness. They are top. Number 3. The Cursed Axe. The Cursed Axe is a double axe weapon type, which is really amazing. The unique trait is Exploding, which is a really good AoE enchantment. Explanation on the previous weapon. This weapon has incredible AoE. The double axe weapon type has the most AoE damage in the game. If you use the right enchantments on this weapon, you will be way too strong. This weapon is literally broken. Number 2. Drumroll please. It is the Fighter's Bindings. This weapon is the Gauntlet's weapon type, which has insane unique versions except for the Maulers. This weapon has the most attack speed in the game. It is so freaking fast. The unique trait is a speed increase. That's what makes this weapon so amazing. If you have the right enchantments on this, you are literally unstoppable. This weapon is complete madness. And now for the last tier, the God tier. The God tier has the best weapon in the game. This weapon is way too OP. And now, the best weapon in Minecraft Dungeons. The ultimate, the Omega. At number 1 place. Drumroll please. It is the Whirlwind Axe. This weapon is also a double axe weapon type, however the unique trait is Shockwave instead of Exploding. Shockwave is one of the best enchantments in the game. Every combo hit, it shoots out a shockwave dealing insane damage. and every second hit is a combo on the double axe weapon type. With the right enchantments and the right build, you will become unstoppable. No weapon can beat the whirlwind axe. It is the god tier, way 2 of Minecraft Dungeons weapon.